Why do I torture myself by watching this shit? I don't know. Guys, it's time for another angry movie vlog. Why? Because I saw a movie that was so fucking bad that I just don't feel like taking the time to make an official more reviews, WTF, after the show review of this movie because it was just that bad. Um, I'm sorry. I gotta do this again. This will not be the last time I do this. It will be one of many. I promise you. Because there's always shit out there to be shit on. By critics, by people, by regular moviegoers. They have a voice, and it's time for the voice of reason on this terrible, terrible movie. That movie is Texas Chainsaw 3D. Texas Chainsaw 3D. Now, folks, I want to say right out the bat, I love the Texas Chainsaw series. Love it. First movie I thought was good, kind of boring. Second movie I thought was a great parody of the first one, and very over the top and entertaining. Third one, entertaining, not as crazy, ridiculous as the second one, not as scary or realistic as the first one, somewhere in the middle. The fourth one is utter shit, but it is so bad it's good to me. I think it's actually kind of funny how bad it is, and that's what got me through it. And I actually own all of them on DVD except for this one. But Texas Chainsaw 3D was coming out. I heard it was coming out. I was excited. I was excited for the new Texas Chainsaw movie. I even like the remakes. I like the remakes. I like the second one better than the first one, the prequel one. But anyway, I heard this was coming out. I saw the trailers for it. I was just amped up. I was like, yes, new Texas Chainsaw movie. I am just so hyped to see this damn thing. I didn't get a chance to see it in theaters. I wanted to. I wanted to see it in theaters in 3D because I wanted that to be my first 3D movie. But I didn't. First 3D movie was Superman and or Man of Steel. We'll get to that another time. But anyway, I waited longer because this thing got pulled out of theaters pretty fast. Which meant one of two things, that either it just had a limited release or it was other shit. I didn't listen. I heard it was terrible, but I just had to see it because I don't know why. I was just so committed to this series. I was like, this one has to be good. You know, this one has to be better than 4. It has to be better than, like, 3. Admittedly, no. I mean, it's faster paced than 4, but it's not better. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking with this movie. Like, they were confused about what kind of horror movie they were trying to make with Leatherface. It's not a hard it's not a hard idea. If you want to make a movie about Leatherface, okay, here's how to do. Hicks, crazy Hicks. Then you have Leatherface. You have him skin a few people. You have the psychos do their psycho thing. You have the people go, ah, and maybe throw a lot of blood around everywhere. There you go. Texas Chainsaw right there. But no, this movie tried to do something completely different and kind of make Leatherface an anti-hero for some reason. I don't know why they decided to make Leatherface an anti-hero. I mean, and also, let's take place in modern times, a prequel to the original movie back in the day, because the story of this one is that a long time ago, the original family of the, Texas Chainsaw, whatever, the freaking whatever family their name is, got gunned down, except for the one mother and her baby, Leatherface. And he was taken away, and he was locked up in a mansion a long time ago, and he's been in that mansion ever since. And when the mother died, she inherited the house to her niece or whatever. And the niece is all like, oh, I got a mansion or whatever. I got like a house back in Texas. And then that's the chick from Percy Jackson, both movies. She's kind of hot, but her acting is in this movie. She's just bad. Anyway, they have to go down to Texas because she has to claim the house for her own, and I thought that was kind of a cool idea. You go in the house, Leatherface in the house, shit gets real. And you saw how many people in there. There's not going to be a high body count, but there is going to be some deaths. I was like, okay, we got something. We got something working here. They drive up to the house, and when they get into Texas, okay, you know what? As a person who was born in Texas, who was raised a bit in Texas, this is the most stereotypical. This is the stupidest, most stereotypical version of Texas I have ever seen in a movie. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, I don't even... if I was to walk out here in coveralls with some freaking hay sticking out my mouth, talking like this motherfucker, bringing out my guitar or stringing on down that thing, I wouldn't even be even close to how stereotypical these motherfuckers are being. I mean, it's it's insulting almost. It is insulting to have us look like that and act like that. And yeah, one of the dudes is obviously he looks hot, so he's gonna be part of this chick's life because he's the only hot guy in here. Everybody else looks hickish and stupid. The one dude, you can tell he's gonna be an asshole because he's the sheriff and he looks like an asshole. It's like, hey, you're an asshole. He's like, yep, boy, yes I am. I am an asshole right down here. That's where the mansion is. And they go over to the mansion anyway. They go in the house, and everything seems fine at first, It's her, this black dude who's a friend, and this really hot chick who apparently screwed Buddy a while back, and then she wants to do it again. He's like, no, no, no. And then they got this other friend. They're going in there. Now, Leatherface apparently lives in the basement because he was locked in the basement for a while. So, when shit goes down, somebody goes into the basement and they find Leatherface. His ass gets, boom, knocked out. And this is where the movie's budget really shows. But there was potential in this. I saw potential in this one scene for what it could have been. And how when his Leatherface saw the dude, he hooked him up. The dude's standing like this, right? And then the Leatherface whips out his chainsaw and this starts sawing through his cheek. And he's going, oh no, 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 no. And then his body is stilled. Like his stomach and everything is just like, it's still moving and the saw's going through. But up here he's like, oh no, 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 no. But then the thing's still moving and his body is stilled. That's bad, man. That's bad. But when the torso fell, it was like the bloodiest scene you'd ever seen in a Texas Chainsaw movie. And I was like, maybe this is where the movie's going. Like, total just blood and gore and stupidity schlock. I could accept that then. But no, that was the only gory scene in the entire effing movie that wasn't CGI. And there's this horrible CGI scene in the end. Anyway, Leatherface goes up. Black guy and chick go into Barnhouse and she seduces him. They end up screwing while chick from Percy Jackson, I'm not gonna say her name. I don't give a shit about her name. Anyway, Leatherface finds her, starts chasing her out. She's like, oh my god! And by the way, Leatherface, he kind of looks, I kind of like how he was old. I like the idea that Leatherface is an old man, but he's still crazy. But anyway, the mother inherited the house with Leatherface to her, so Leatherface is supposed to obey her. But right now, it doesn't know it. Anyway, she's chasing with the chainsaw, and he's kind of got a limp when he's chasing, so he's like, and he's coming at her. And then there's that scene they showed in all the trailers, the scene where she's stuck in the tomb, or she's stuck in the coffin, and she's hiding, and then the chainsaw comes out, that's one of like 3 huge 3D shots they used in this movie that was just terrible. I mean, it didn't even look like it was meant to be there except for a 3D shot, and that should never be applied into a movie. But anyway, after she's getting sawed in, the dude and the chick come out and they're like, oh my god, who the hell is that? And the Leatherface is all like, huh? Running at them like, oh my god, and just running at him. And all stupid, and then the Leatherface comes at him, and they go in the car. Leatherface just knocks the car, and the car flips out. And so he decides to try to break in with the chainsaw and actually kills one of them. In another terrible 3D shot, where it's just straight up chainsaw, because it's in your face in 3D. It's got to be like, oh my god, it's in your face. 3D, 3D. That'd be like if I was doing this again and again and again in your face. I'd be like, 3D, guys, 3D. You like this movie? You like this movie because of the 3D? Why did they do this? I don't know. Man, I really like the series. Anyway, when they get away, Leatherface, like, starts chasing them out, and the cops follow him, by the way. Cops are like, oh my god, who the hell is that? And then Leatherface is getting chased by the police at one moment, but after first he's chasing the girl, and they're running over into the woods, and they run into a carnival. Leatherface is just passing all these people with his chainsaw running, and he's just passing them by. And they had the chance to make this gory, like I said. Like, they could have had Leatherface to show how menacing he is, just saw people while he was chasing them, like, like they're in the way. And there could have been a good idea here, but they refused to use it, and everybody just jumped out of the way, like, oh my god, and he's just like, chasing this one person, and the cop comes up from behind him, and he's just like, freeze, buddy, freeze! And Leatherface just throws his chainsaw, which he would never do. Leatherface loves his chainsaw. He would never throw that thing away. And it was just thrown for a pointless 3D shot that the guy could dodge easily, which was stupid. Leatherface goes back, and apparently this is a really cool scene, actually, where when he opens the thing up, there's a whole bunch of chainsaws, and he's like, I wonder which one I want. This one. That was cool. It's like, props movie. But anyway, apparently the Hick family is the reason that the family was slaughtered, and the Leatherface kind of wants revenge on that. But the family wants to, the sheriff and the Hicks want to kill Leatherface and the remaining family, which is Percy Jackson's chick. She's one of the members of the family, and then they capture her, and apparently, handsome dude, plot twist coming in, he is part of the thing, and then he's going to help kill and torture her for something she didn't even do. She didn't know about. But yet this dude's being an asshole for no reason, because he has to be an asshole for her character to change drastically in this one scene. Because when they're in the car, they're driving out, I think their name is the Sawyers or whatever. I think that's part of Leatherface's name. I forget. But anyway, they're driving in the car, and she's all like, so you're this, and I forget the last name of their family. He's like, yeah, I am. I'm an asshole too. And she whips out a knife and she pokes it right next to his face. She could have stabbed him in the back of the head and he would have died, and she could have gotten away, but she didn't. But she stabbed it right next to him. She's like, well, I'm a Sawyer. I'm like, oh, well, now you're going to be a bad guy all of a sudden? All you were bitching and whining a minute ago, and now you're going to go jump over to being evil? I mean, you can't do that kind of character change. Progression has to be made for character change to count. I don't get why they did that. Anyway, Leatherface comes out while she's being tortured into the thing and actually frees her. It kind of helps her out. I forget kind of the reason why, but he helps her out. Finds out she's a member of the family. And then totally wipes out a lot of people. She helps. And Chainsaw Dude, Leatherface is trying to kill main sheriff guy, because main sheriff guy, oh my god, let me tell you something. When they had the cops investigating the Leatherface house, and it was just slow, boring ass scene where the chick's finding out like exactly what happened to her family, like what happened, who she was, what Leatherface was part of her family for. She was finding out she was a Sawyer, and in that they were combining that with the scene of this cop slowly walking down with the flashlight. Like, oh my god, you guys, check this out, it's terrible. This was so boring because we know what's gonna happen. It's set up for the most cliched and obvious scene, and I hated this because I know what's gonna happen. It's like they just didn't care anymore. It's like they just cashed in on Leatherface as much as they could. And this is the last Leatherface movie, I tell you. Unless somebody, some great director comes out who knows how to make grindhouse movies, or some great horror movie comes out to remake this movie, this is going to be the last one. But anyway, that scene sucked. And back to what I was saying. The sheriff has Leatherface. He's going to just shoot him or something. And then, they're like, no, Leatherface, don't die, don't die. Why do you care? He's just gonna kill people. He's bad. You can't just make him out to be an anti-hero when the entire movie series, he's been a bad guy. You try to reform his character, you can't do that. But anyway, they somehow help him, and then he starts chasing the sheriff into the grinder that's right behind him, and starts just chainsawing him in. He's like, get in there, get in there. And he's behind this grinder thing, and he falls backwards, and the thing starts grinding him up in a terrible CGI shot. The CGI looked like shit. It was like terrible January CGI. And, kills him. And then, the chick, takes Leatherface home, and then she decides to be part of the family. She decides to live in the house, and this obviously set up for a sequel that never happened. Okay, this will never happen again, because this movie ended terribly, it was set up terribly, it was written terribly, directed terribly, horrible CG, horrible 3D. This movie fucking sucked. I hope it burns. I hope I never see it again. I love the series. This series was raped, and you know what? I'm done. I will see you guys on my next angry rant, my next angry vlog for whatever else movie that pisses me off. See you guys next time.